That lady soon desisted likewise, and fell into a quiet melancholy. The relief was so great, and the fatiguing occurrences of last night so completely overpowered the locksmith, that he nodded in his chair, and would doubtless have slept there all night, but for the voice of Mrs Varden, which after a pause of some 5 minutes awoke him with a start. 'If I am ever,' said Mrs V., not scolding, but in a sort of monotonous remonstrance, 'in spirits, if I am ever cheerful, if I am ever more than usually disposed to be talkative and comfortable, this is the way I am treated.' 'Such spirits as you was into, mim, but half an hour ago!' cried Miggs. 'I never see such company.' 'Because,' said Mrs Varden, 'because I never interfere or interrupt, because I never question where anybody comes or goes, because my whole mind and soul is bent on saving where I can save, and labouring in this house. Therefore they try me as they do.' 'Martha,' urged the locksmith, endeavouring to look as wakeful as possible, 'what is it you complain of? I really came home with every wish and desire to be happy. I did indeed.' 'What do I complain of?' retorted his wife. 'Is it a chilling thing to have one's husband sulking and falling asleep directly he comes home? To have him freezing all one's warm-heartedness, and throwing cold water over the fireside? Is it natural, when I know he went out upon a matter in which I am as much interested as anybody can be, that I should wish to know all that has happened, or that he should tell me without my begging and praying him to do it? Is that natural, or is it not?' 'I'm very sorry, Martha,' said the good-natured locksmith. 'I was really afraid you were not disposed to talk pleasantly. I'll tell you everything. I shall only be too glad, my dear.' 'No, Varden,' returned his wife, rising with dignity. 'I dare say, thank you. I'm not a child, to be corrected one minute and petted the next. I'm a little too old for that, Varden. Miggs, carry the light. You can be cheerful, Miggs, at least.' Miggs, who to this moment had been in the very depths of compassionate despondency, passed instantly into the liveliest state conceivable, and tossing her head as she glanced towards the locksmith, bore off her mistress and the light together. Now, who would think, thought Varden, shrugging his shoulders and drawing his chair nearer to the fire, that that woman could ever be pleasant and agreeable? And yet she can be. Well, well, all of us have our faults. I'll not be hard upon hers. We have been man and wife too long for that. He dozed again, not the less pleasantly, perhaps, for his hearty temper. While his eyes were closed, the door leading to the upper stairs was partially opened, and a head appeared, which, at sight of him, hastily drew back again. 'I wish,' murmured Gabriel, waking at the noise and looking round the room, 'I wish somebody would marry Miggs. But that's impossible. I wonder whether there's any madman alive who would marry Miggs.' This was such a vast speculation, that he fell into a doze again, and slept until the fire was quite burnt out. At last he roused himself, and having double locked the street door, according to custom, and put the key in his pocket, went off to bed. He had not left the room in darkness many minutes, when the head again appeared, and Sim Tappertit entered, bearing in his hand a little lamp. 'What the devil business has he to stop up so late?' muttered Sim, passing into the workshop and setting it down upon the forge. 'Here's half the night gone already. There's only one good that has ever come to me out of this cursed old rusty mechanical trade, and that's this piece of ironmongery, upon my soul.' As he spoke, he drew from the right hand, or rather right leg pocket of his smalls, a clumsy large-sized key, which he inserted cautiously in the lock his master had secured, and softly opened the door. That done, he replaced his piece of secret workmanship in his pocket, and leaving the lamp burning, and closing the door carefully and without noise, stole out into the street, as little suspected by the locksmith in his sound deep sleep, as by Barnaby himself in his phantom haunted dreams. Chapter 7.